I've realized something pretty profound unto myself regarding the gift of creativity. It's certainly a gift in my life, and one that I don't want to take for granted. And oftentimes I know for me, the things I don't use, or don't utilize, or don't exercise are the things that I'm taking for granted. I'm driving through New Mexico on this cross-country trip that I don't know if I'm going where God leads me, where the universe is leading me, but I'm actually a lot more reassured throughout this drive. So, I've been listening to podcasts. I've been producing the podcasts because there was a blockage. There was a mental abscess in the gland that would normally produce fruit or the hair, and then where people would see me through how I cut it or dye it. My podcast, it's a metaphor. It is something that definitely comes out of me. It's natural, and it's not always what I specifically want, but it's how I'm made. A lot of you know I have, I don't know if it's called premature gray hair, but I started getting grays when I was 13 years old, and I think it was due to a lot of stress, family structure changing, 9/11, living outside of DC, a lot to do with that, and then puberty, coming of age, and trying to pray the gay out of myself. Fear of going to hell or getting left out of the rapture. But in these seeming apocalyptic times, I'm actually not convinced we're living in the last days. I mean, I'd like it to be a surprise, but I think people writing articles on The Onion about 4 skeletal horsemen trotting across the sky is hilarious. But I realize that this blockage to my creativity is, proportionate to my resentments. It's proportionate to my anger and frustrations. I really don't know if it was me subconsciously or just making excuses, or if it's my higher power saying, no, I'm not going to let you produce, not even near the level that you were producing on, if you still maintain this pettiness. And especially with those that are keystones, maybe cornerstones, but founding blocks, seminal agents of my upbringing and culture. Because families are going to spat. Families are going to argue and fall out. And that's what makes us family, is that we come back together. And more recently for me, I've realized that there's no one like this tribe I've been blessed to be brought up in. It could be as much as sitting watching TV with someone, to just being able to talk and reminisce, as well as disclose new information and get feedback. And so communication, two-way street. Subject A sends a message to subject B. Subject B receives the message and reciprocates with their own message. Or maybe they don't reciprocate at all. Oprah says it a lot. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Does what I say matter? That's her thing. I quote her. But it's so very true. When you send that message and it doesn't seem to matter, it's just off in the abyss. But there are those that receive your message. And for me, whether I like it or not, they're typically the ones that have been there from my inception. If this is all purpose, then I think destiny is a very linear term. I think destiny is actually much more circular and holistic, and actually spherical and ever expanding like the universe. So call it predestination, but don't think of it as a straight line, like you're set on that path. That's my recommendation, because I find peace in knowing that my higher power, my creator, the God that sends angels to watch out for me and speaks to me through coincidences, can ever expand my situation. My destiny can and will adapt. And so I'm looking forward to resolving some resentment. I don't know what about these big old spacious open plains with these flat top mountains. I guess I should have read up on where I was going, because I did not know. I don't know why these mountains are. Because there was water. There was water running through here at some point. But why are they so flat on top? I don't know. That was the weirdest thing. It's like right when I got to New Mexico, I just saw this square ass mountain. But I also came up on this peak in between a valley, and it was weird because it was a valley between two hills, but we were ascending, and the sun had risen, and I got to watch the sunrise over this beautiful nation. But the way the sunlight cascaded out the sky and it was directly here with me on the road, I said, okay, I see you, God. I hear you, God. And what you say matters. To me, it's been revealed that God's glory, life's love, harmony, joy, peace, happiness, endurance, stamina, passion, which is brought to you by struggling. That's where passion's derived from. Sarah Jakes Roberts for you, Activation 1 LA. And it's so funny because I thought I was getting sent back. I got to tell y'all something. Let me just be completely blunt. When I meet, not if ever, when I meet the Jakes family in total, Sarah Jakes Roberts, I think I'm going to fangirl over just for a second, maybe not externally. If you don't know who that is, look her up. She's got a great podcast, Woman Evolve, but she also has a dynamic ministry, and her and Torrey Roberts, Stephen Furtick at Elevation, and then you have people like Aubrey Marcus with On It and his AMP podcast, and even Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz, all these comedians. I like a full, if I'm going to have a palette with colors on it, I don't just want 3 colors. I just don't want different shades of orange. I want different shades of orange and different shades of brown and different shades of yellow. Why would I close myself off? Because I'm a man, I'm a human, I ain't no saint. So I'm not going to sit up here and act all like Mr. Holier Than Thou, because that is not the case. And those of you that have followed me and seen me struggle and read my books and know that my passion, it's really evident in overcoming. It's evident in enduring. Sometimes I don't want to endure. Sometimes I don't feel like overcoming. Sometimes I'm wondering, why do I have to keep overcoming? But most of the time, I think I know. I think I know. I mean, people can blame it on drugs and alcohol, but they'll tell you in those rooms with the blue book, those are just symptoms. I've gotten sober in and outside of AA. I think it's a great support group, and I think we are a tribal, well, we all know we're tribal creatures. We're social creatures. So that's the paradox of this moment, 2020. I don't know about you, but I had some presuppositions about 2020. I like those two numbers together. I'm thinking vision. That's human vision. That is so small on the scale of this planet, on the scale of even other animals that probably have like 120 vision. Because I know for myself, I had 40-20 vision. Now, I don't think it's that good anymore because I notice sometimes after smoking a little bit, it gets a little fuzzy. But I would challenge myself and cover up one eye and read the smallest font I could. And doctor told me, he's like, you have 40-20 vision. Like, your vision is above average. But I'm still just a human. So I think my assumption of, 2020, that means clarity. Yeah, on a human scale. See, I don't want to think too small. And that's why it's sometimes good to get out into open spaces. And let me tell y'all something. I'm not taking some road trip just to take a road trip. I got evicted, which we will produce the excerpts. I've been managed to the scraps of the show, but I was so emotionally drained. I was so distraught at losing, it seemed like a legal battle, my dignity. It seemed dehumanizing. So that is when I noticed I started to hit the wall. And the people I started to surround myself with, not family, but the likes of what I thought where I should be, it was way too small. See, because when somebody thinks smaller than you, but they got their own thing going on, they're probably not going to want, well, I don't know that. I don't know what they're going to want to do. But I know for me, it can be intimidating when I come on the scene and your office isn't big enough for me. It can almost become very competitive. And I mean, of course, what workforce isn't? But I am not trying to compete with my supervisor. And I keep clashing with these authoritative figures. But you have to understand, I didn't think I had a problem with authority. Because I grew up, I think I got sent to the principal's office like once out of my whole childhood. My mother said all she had to do was get a phone call. She just said, don't let me get called to the school. So it's a paradox that we're social creatures. Now, in order to maintain our collective survival, or to fight extinction pretty much, we have to be socially distant. I find God in paradoxes. I find God in dichotomies, coincidences, irony. That is a rhetoric that is it's impermeable, but it permeates throughout each and everything that I can sense, each and every being, each and every moment. And I wish I could explain it. It's like, how do you explain God? But rhetoric is oftentimes based off of the rhetor, the person speaking, delivering the message. What's their reputation? Who are they? What's their name? What's that stand for? I know, like you know, God has many reputations. Everyone's got an opinion about who he, she, they are. So for me, when the content and the delivery and the emotion behind it outweigh whatever reputation it kind of affirms, or just blatantly initially affirms the actual representation of a higher power, a deity, a greater purpose to all this, because I refuse to believe that this is all for naught. And even if we are just little ants running around on 4 rubber reels in our little metal cars and causing all this drama on this beautiful planet and beyond, there's a I just sincerely believe there's a purpose, there's a reason behind it, and that has sometimes been the only thing I've had to hold on to, especially in these last couple of months, last few months, is that there is something more. Whatever's right in front of me, whatever I'm in, wherever I'm at, and it could feel good, it could be good, but there's something more in a lot less. And I mean, when you start breaking down like atoms and molecules and how life permeates to that degree, and that is just the degree we can see with 2020 through a lens. It's very fantastic. I think it's a beautiful symphony of all these different elements, life. And I'm saying that at a point where normally, I mean, I was really dreading this drive. It was not particularly planned, but the opportunity provided itself because I've been couch surfing since I got evicted, and I was invited to LA, but I was invited to LA. I literally left my apartment on Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. By March 20th, Eric Newsom, the mayor of Los Angeles, who I think is very handsome. That's a fine white boy. I wouldn't know if he's cuter than Gavin Newsom. No, he's definitely cuter than Gavin Newsom. Eric Garcetti was on that, what is that, Kenya Barr's show, Blackish, with Tracy Ross. Look, I was sold. If you like Tom Cruise going to the BET Awards, oh, and Justin Hartley on that movie Little with that little black girl from Blackish, white guys that get in on black cinema, you know you fine. But anyway, so yeah, where was I at? Okay. LA goes into lockdown. So what started off as, and always is and will always be, a beautiful situation, I felt so bad. I felt terrible because now I'm supposed to, there's a stay-at-home order. I don't live here, but I'm scared for my life because they're like people with pre-existing heart conditions. I had a heart attack a month and a half ago. Everything seemed to be out to get me, and I shut down, and I could have, after working a year, pain management, doing these doctor's appointments, physical therapy, acupuncture, and weightlifting, getting back active and stuff like that, I'm not suited to be no Amazon or UPS lifting. If y'all want me to talk, if you want me to write a book, if you want me to be your assistant, I will do accounting. I can write invoices. I'm a very talented, skilled person. But the essential workers, unless you're a higher up or you're already invested in the company, the essential work was actually the most underpaid and the most labor intensive. And then we started hearing about the stimulus check and stuff. So if I am unemployed at no fault of my own, and I mean my own, not my heart, not my health, I think letting someone go because they get sick is super fucked up. And that happened to me literally a month before it happened to the whole world. My devastation preceded everyone else's. So I was on a cloud. I was on an LA grind. I was like listening to Sarah Jake's podcast called Sent Back, where she talks about how Moses is sent back by God to Egypt, the place where he grew up, but he ran from. He got into a little trouble. So it was time to change clothes and go, as my friends would say. And Earth to Kia, if you're out there, your friend Eric would love to talk to you. There's a message from Earth. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway. So yeah, I could listen to that podcast while I run, while I work out, while I'm cleaning over and over. Shit, I'll probably listen to it today. Excuse my French, but I don't know how we do. So I'm thinking, I'm getting sent back. I'm restructuring. I am facing my fear, because my fall from grace in Hollywood, when I left Los Angeles, it was so it wasn't even scandalous. It was just devastating. It was like, how did you not see that was not going to play? I was so underprepared for, what are you doing? See, okay, when you are driving across country, faster traffic stays on the left, slower traffic on the right. If I'm going to pass you, I'm going to move into the left lane. Don't come over there and be slow. Lord Jesus, keep me at the cross. Let me slow down. But let me tell y'all how life, my higher power, the rhetoric of this universe has opened up and revealed to me. For rhetoric's sake, let's give a brief example. So I'm in LA, and now I'm feeling inspired again. I can smell the streets. I can smell the rat piss. I'm in the heart of it. And I start writing again. I thought I wanted to podcast, but now I can't find nothing to talk about. And now I know I'm in LA, but I'm actually just stuck in someone else's house. And they're so nice, such gracious hosts. But I feel like a stone. I feel like a total burden. I have no job. I have a dog. And now the economy is shut down. And I can't even go outside. So I thought, I know I've handled isolation and this social distancing a lot better than most, simply because of my upbringing as an only child, but also this past year living on my own. But I also noticed before I got to LA that my isolation, what I saw was a weapon, a tool, a strength. It was a weakness. It was a downfall. There's something interesting in that movie, Arrival. I'm not trying to see no Arrival shit out here in New Mexico. I mean, that'd be cool, actually. I saw something last night. Okay, I'll try to remember at the end of the episode. I'll tell y'all about this ghost I saw last night. Woo! Okay, and that was in Arizona. Yeah, so I didn't even ask why I was so stopped up. I just meddled in my frustration. I got into a routine of debilitating myself. I got into a routine of distraction. It became customary for me to avoid being creative. But it was like, well, I can go there. I can go to that space, but nothing was there. I would open up the laptop. I'd get the mic ready. I'd be ready to roll. Nothing was there. And then I'm trying to write and get back into this book I'm finishing up that I haven't worked on because I had another job. You know, all these things come up. Excuses. But I learned early on in life, people are going to do what they want to do. If you want to get in shape, you will work out. Now, you may not get the results you want, but you will try until it doesn't hurt as bad. You will try to get that salad when you go to Carrabba's. They actually have some pretty good salads, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. I'm sure I worked there long enough. But, so I was kind of devastated. I was grieving, not like everyone else, though. I think everyone else was kind of like excited because something was happening. It's like, finally, something in this world is happening. Like, we haven't met aliens, but there's a pandemic and it's the end of the world. But at the same time, like, oh, snap, like, I don't have $400 saved up. What do you mean I can't come to work? No, we got to work. Let me tell you who is going to be at work on Monday. Mr. Eric Garcetti. No, and I have been accustomed to living with that stress. And maybe it's from being black. Maybe it's from being lower middle class for some parts of my life as an independent adult. And that's what hurts too, is when you're brought up middle class, when you come of age and you start going without, that's what messes me up. By the way, I'm looking over Albuquerque right now and I'm getting goosebumps because I'm like, this is Breaking Bad. Ah. Where's Jesse? Oh man. Shout out to Aaron Paul and his wife Lauren. She went to Pepperdine. She used to feed me when I was like super stoned freshman, but all they had was like vegan food. I never met him, but anywho. So here I was thinking it was my call to get sent back to LA, to get back into the industry there, to just show my face, to not be scared. And I did that. But what did life do? Shut it down. See, that, it actually, it kind of fills my heart with joy, because to me, in my book, God's like, I'll shut down this world to get you where I need you to go. I'll make sure my glory is fulfilled in your life. God's glory is fulfilled in my life. Oh snap, we gotta slow down. 65, staying alive. I was like, is he gonna get on or not? Shoot. We ain't get to check it out this much. So yeah. I did not want, I felt like I failed. I felt like a loser. And I've lost over and over. And I think I mentioned this on the show before. Oh yeah, how to take an L. It's funny because I would talk about this stuff and forget it. And even though I'm trying to like motivate others and inspire others and just relate, it's easy to forget. It's so easy to forget because taking L's is not easy. At a certain point, you get tired of getting slapped around in this relationship with life. Like, you're gonna hit me one more time and I'm gonna walk out. No, don't jump. That's season 1. So, but you do. And if you tap out before you get that second win, before you get kind of accustomed to the pain, you may just stay stuck. You might have to fight that battle again. And so what I'm dealing with these days, I'm being sent back not to LA, but to where I was raised. And I realized that today because I don't know. The universe just kind of spoke to me, this drive, and we know road trips and this iconic tour of America on Route 40 is it's been known to inspire. It's been known to bring up some passion, to realign. I need to turn off this GPS. I'm playing with y'all. I don't know how it just says go straight. All right, good. What is all this? Junction 25, 3 miles. I don't know. Get me to the Atlantic Ocean now, Siri. No, I'm playing. So yeah, it was revealed to me. Sorry for the choppiness, y'all. Brother's trying to multitask here, and I mean, I'm straight. You know, we're good. Ain't nothing to hide up in here. It is 420, so happy 420 to everybody. I'll see if I can post this episode from the show. Unfortunately, your boy can't smoke today with you. I didn't get no CBD for Irie. All the money is going towards this trip, but I don't want people to give up before the next chapter. I don't want you to leave the movie before you see that last thing, or that scene that comes up after the credits and you're like, oh snap, there's going to be a sequel. No one can tell you how many times you can come back. That's up to you. See, there's something about a comeback, but coming back over and over. And so, for me, I thought I was getting sent back to where, I just had a realization. I was going to say I thought I was getting sent back to where my Hollywood career began, but in actuality, that wouldn't be true, because now, going back to the East Coast, that's where a lot of my prominent roles, my most publicized modeling and acting gigs were filmed and shot. So, to me, life is telling me, oh, I'm going to send you back to the beginning, to the start. I'm 30 years old, doing this road trip with my dog, and right when I thought I was going to lose it all, right when I thought I was going to be the only one down and out for the count, I had got accustomed to being like this walking shell of a man, this corpse. I don't know. A lot of times I don't feel like I wrote songs. I feel like they're like given to me by life, by universe. But there's this one, and it's like some melody like, baby, please don't take my soul. I need a little something of my own, a little place to call a home. Baby, please don't take my soul. And it's kind of got this in vogue, running in and out my life. You got me so confused. Because I love, when that song came on and Set It Off was out when I was a kid riding in my mom's Volvo, oh boy, some in vogue. There'll be some. Alright, I'll stop. Anywho, but there will be that. Some love making and some heartbreaking. Because that is life. But it takes almost a sanity to try something new and stick it out. Insanity would be to keep giving up. I have been insane. I have kept giving up and not exhausting a lot of the chances given me, but at the same time, out of respect for my life. So everything that I thought was bad against me, the discrimination, the hostility, the threats on my life, the eviction, the racism, the bigotry, the adoption, the absorption into someone else's home months after having a cardiac event at such a young age, it has lined up and brought me to this very moment. And I gotta say, I'm really excited. I'm going with people that I love. And I also get the opportunity to resolve a lot of resentment, to make some apologies, to chop some things up, and to free up, to pop, to lance this abscess, this cyst that's clogging my gland of creativity. So sometimes in order to unclog the freeways in our life and the highways, I really think life will shut it down. And the good part about me is, like, I'm blessed. I get to take the car. I get to be homeless right now. That gets to be my truth, because I get the chance to relocate. Y'all want me to stay home to save lives? Nigga, I don't have a home! So, sorry, Irene, Lord, my dog. He's such a good boy on these road trips. He's a good boy. I am looking forward to what else this trip has to offer. I don't see it going too much longer. I mean, it's just me and him. Sleep is definitely pivotal. I don't mess around with being a lazy driver or kind of pushing it. So, I don't know. I know there's some type of, like, lifestyle. It was on, like, high maintenance with this fine ginger guy where he's, like, sleeps every 4 hours for, like, 30 minutes or something, and, like, sometimes he just, like, goes into a bush just to make sure he does it, and works out twice a day and all this stuff. So I'm trying to kind of hit that rhythm, be like 1 hour down, maybe 2 hours down, 4 to 6 hours up, whatever, man. I think this being able to share and produce while driving has really changed my attitude about this trip. I'm really grateful that I'm finding God where I really least expected. And I want to tap this before. I was passing by this place called Thoreau, and I saw it on a sign right when one of these podcasts, I believe it was Torre or it might have been Sarah, but they said the word Pharaoh, as in Moses and Pharaoh, and it sent chills down my spine. But I don't count that happenstance. See, to me, that's something synonymous is happening. And it's just like the day before I left for my road trip, I walk out the building I was staying at in LA, and this old red Ford Explorer is parked outside, like raggedy thing. But I used to have that car. I drove to Vegas and back in that car. That is the car that I left Vegas in on the day of the shooting. And I remember I was really in the thick of my disease, really on a bender relapse, and I was like trying to pray to God, like, please don't let this car break down while I'm on my way to Vegas. And it didn't. But at the same time, I'm walking around, I'm walking the dogs before I left, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know. Because everything just seemed to be like, I checked my license and it was coming up suspended. I don't even want to talk about it, but it's just crazy. And that's why I got inspired, because I had to pay all this money to get my license freed up to some like third-party collection agency. I don't know, but I am definitely going to be an advocate for change going forward from here. You already know that. But this whole system with the DMV and courts shutting down and some courts being open, because like Santa Monica, we don't want to talk to Beverly Hills. Well, Beverly Hills ain't answering the phone, so y'all need to tell me what to do with my license. And I had to pay that money. I had to pay registration fees on my car, all this stuff that built up. But because of the relief and the aid and the opportunity I was given by that lovely family in LA, it all literally fell together. And so when I left, I was actually I left under the auspicion that I was driving with a suspended license, but I knew if I stayed, I would die. Something in me would die, a creative part of me. And I felt like, I don't know, life was telling me to take the risk. When I saw that old Ford Explorer, I was like, I can do this. That was affirmation. So then I'm listening to the podcast, Passing by Thoreau. I hear the word Pharaoh. And that, all this registration, all this debauchery, all the chaos, it seemed to be following me from California. And so, like when those Israelites asked Moses when they're up against the Red Sea, y'all saw the movie with Aaron Paul, shout out to him, playing Aaron, Moses' brother. That's badass. Hey Aaron, you want to play the Aaron? But now, I wish they showed that scene where he was dancing naked by the calf, because I'm trying to see some, never mind. But I just think Aaron Paul's got a lot of range, you know what I mean? So I noticed I had the attitude of an Israelite. Like, because they were asking Moses something like, why would you bring us out here to die? Like, there are more graves in Egypt than there are out here. We should have just stayed, you know? But they forgot the promise. They forgot the opportunity. They forgot the vision. And they forgot the God that was leading them. I forgot what I believed in. I forgot how, I want to say like harmonious, how cinematic. I remember one of my old supervisors, I was decorating my other supervisor's desk for her birthday, and he was like, you're so extra. You're just so extra. You could tell he learned that from one of his kids or something, but he was right. I mean, it's true. I know. But I love it when life is so extra with me. Because people will let you down. And opportunities and tangible stuff, a lot of things that I can sense, they seem to sometimes let me down. But life, where I'm just like this little atom molecule, part of this whole big sea, this ocean, it gets extra for me. And I want that for others, so I'm willing to share it. In any case, I'll probably log back on and do another episode here, but if you've stuck in this far, then I won't leave you hanging. Last night in like Flagstaff, Arizona, which is like the last stop before like 4-hour run on the 40, and then that run goes over like Arizona and New Mexico, and I'm like thinking Arizona, UFO lights, Roswell. I was like, I really do not want to be driving in the middle of the night here. There's like no, it's just not a good incentive for me, and I was feeling tired. So, but I also knew like not tired enough to work. It's not like I'm going to be like getting my sleep on, because I'm not paying for a hotel, some sleazy Motel 6. That would be a trigger for me. I might get a room depending on how today's drive goes, though. But I will behave myself. I really just want to get to where I'm going. So yeah, I found a nice place to park. This really like kind of fancy gas station, but it was also like, it was probably the nicest trucker stop I've ever seen, because I was very separate from the truckers. But shout out to my truckers. But some of y'all be nasty. But then you got guys like Tony Merkel on the Confessionals. Shout out to Tony, and thank you for all your help last year. And you know, he's a trucker, so they're not all gross. He's got a fresh little look to him. He looks like a clean cut guy. And he's got his beard stuff going on. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta talk to him about something. Anywho, I am sitting in my car, and shout out to his family as well. And I'm looking out the back window where I'm sleeping across the parking lot, and I'm like, my eyes gotta be playing with me, because that was a thing too. my car indicated it was like low temperature outside. I was like, well, what are you talking about? It was like 34 degrees. I was like, oh no. And I didn't know where I was at. I was like, let's just pull over till it heats up. We'll ride out in the morning. So I'm literally like got my dog chest to chest in the back seat, and we're just absorbing each other's body heat, and nothing weird, but it made me grateful for a dog. And we've gone camping before, and that's the homie you want in your tent. He's like 100 degrees off nothing. So normally, yeah, I see like this black like not jacket, like a poncho, or not a poncho, and then I see this white flowing skirt, and then it looks like a white girl with her hair down. But I'm like, it's 34 degrees right now. I don't think she would be having her hair down. And then I really could not see her feet. But I was like, I couldn't tell because she was like 5 parking spaces away, and there was a car like 3 parking spaces away, and she was just walking like the length of my car from where I was. Like, so she walked behind a car. And I was like, okay, I'm going to look for her on the other side of that car. She never came out on the other side. So, boom, there you have it. Go to sleep and get nightmares. That's from Thug Rats on YouTube. I can't claim that. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road. I'm going to keep checking in, maybe make this a state-by-state run. But New Mexico, Albuquerque, thank you for the inspiration. And I really hope this finds someone right where it needs to. Because I think these days we could all use a little stirring, but also a little clarity can hurt. But it's gonna be okay if I don't know, can you make it okay? You can make it okay, or it'll be okay. I just think for me, I'm seeing an open horizon. I'm seeing a lot of potential, and I'm feeling good about the direction I'm going. So I would encourage you all to look at those things that might be blocking your resentment, that might be causing frustration, or not blocking your resentment from getting resolved, but blocking your creativity. Because if you're like me, or whatever your outlet is, that when you go to sleep at night, you're like, I'm glad I did that. I might not have got paid for it, but you know what? It really helps with my depression. It helps with my anxiety. It helps me feel like and be the person I want to be. And I honestly, for the most part, am flabbergasted, and I'm still getting to the point. And this is one thing I realized too. A lot of people can't. It's hard to wrestle with what you say in the public sphere. You're like, oh my gosh, did I say too much to get vulnerable? A lot of people can't do that. So I know I'm special in some regard because there is some type of craziness to this. But my life, I don't know. I don't want to leave this earth without leaving everything on the table. And I might walk in stumbling drunk, or smelling like booze from the night before, or hopefully smelling like mad ganj, and just lay out a royal flush on the table and win it all. Or I might take an L. But here's to say I didn't try. Alright, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Rhetorical Sake. Patreon.com/ERHunter. I'm not going to beg too much for money because I know times are rough right now. What I want to do is actually change that and start bringing extra resources that help my organization, Earth, to you. So that's something I could ponder on the rest of this trip. But for the moment, I'm signing off.